Hi, Islamic Dad here. I wanted to make a couple of videos, but before I can make them, I have to deal directly with some terms, or I don't think the videos will make as much sense. So the first one that I need to really clarify and define is flying monkeys. Within, I'll call it the sphere of the narcissist diagnosis. There's a trait and behavior that's commonly found with narcissists where they, to some degree, have lackeys that they use to do their bidding. Just like the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz with her flying monkeys, where she would send them off on an errand, sit back, and know confidently that they would do as they were told to the best of their ability. Strangely enough, that is very common for narcissists to do that with their friends, to basically use them as flying monkeys in the purpose of, for multiple purposes, but typically when things go bad within a relationship. My own personal experience with dealing with flying monkeys is mostly, dealing with my ex-wife. With my ex-girlfriend, there was a little bit of that, and I'll get to that, in a moment here. But for the most part, it was really done with, to a much larger extent by my ex-wife. So, for instance, during the separation, and this is post midlife crisis, after she's created this new persona, which was a narcissist, a malignant narcissist, she contacted her friends, some of which were mutual friends with me. And one of them was actually her long time best friends since they were children. And there was kind of this mutual agreement where she would be kind of a good mediator to some degree, and also a confidant that would be, under the guise of being trusted not to, poison the well for my ex-wife. But at the same time, being someone that I could talk to that would be independent, because she knew both of us for basically the entire duration of the marriage. And so from the outside, she looked like the perfect third party. She was independent. She didn't have a horse in that race. She was friends with both of us. And so I, kind of agreed to that, informal situation where this, friend of both of us would be kind of like my confidant, my go-to for dealing with, concerns and confusion and just issues, and, to some extent just venting. And needless to say, like, if you've ever been through a divorce, it's pure chaos. It's maddening. And so very often, sorry, I was talking with her, daily, possibly even multiple times a day sometimes. And I, just the way I am, would just bare my heart, bare my soul, let her know what was going on with me, what was going on with the separation, with my ex-wife, the children. And I started getting like a weird sense because she's very, very opinionated. And instead of her usual demeanor, she was very reserved, where she would just let me talk and talk and talk and not really add much, not really even give any type of validation to what I was saying, and certainly not really share her opinion or thoughts as a third party to this. I mean, to the point, and it got to a point where I just kind of confronted her about it, and I was like, what's going on here? And it was at that point that I started seeing what was actually happening, and I stopped speaking with her, just cut it off, for my own protection, because what I realized, and possibly my memory's a little bit fuzzy, but possibly even that my ex-wife just flat out told this to me, was that this friend was basically a spy for my ex-wife. Yeah. Where she started with the goal of listening to me, gathering information to see where I was at, emotionally, mentally, what my plans were for the separation, for the kids, for the house, all this. Gather all this information and then go back to my ex-wife and debrief her and let her know what I was, where I was at, what I was doing, what my plans were for the future. And it's just, again, it's one of those things where like normal people, I don't think would do stuff like that. It's just like, that's going so low to just dragging someone into this and being like, here, this is what you're gonna do for me, and this is your job, go do it. Yeah, it's crazy. So that is one example, probably one of the main examples for me with the term flying monkey, and kind of what it actually means in the real world when dealing with narcissists. With my ex-girlfriend, because of my experiences dealing with that, I could see much better what was going on. So I had, again, what I thought were mutual friends, and I would reach out to them, and their response would either be flat or non-existent. But at the same time, they wouldn't break off contact. So it was clear to me that these, again, were basically spies, that they were going to maintain contact with me, but only for the purpose of reporting back to my ex-girlfriend kind of what I was doing, where I was at. And I think the main purpose was that it was a way for my ex-girlfriend to separate herself from me, block me on social media and all that type of stuff, while at the same time, cyber stalking me to some degree, where she could have her little flying monkeys still be there, not directly involved with me or anything, but just kind of keeping an eye on what I was doing, within social media, or, at the clubs or whatever. And so, but again, like I learned, the hard way after my, marriage, just kind of what flying monkeys are and what they do, and ultimately the damage that they can do, because they're basically acting simply as an extension of the narcissist, who does not have your best intentions at heart. So I'll continue this on in a broader context in the next video.